Apart from our India's development, commercial growth, the major problem is we are also increasing our weight. That is, our BMI is increasing and our country's obesity is increasing. How many of you would agree for this? And to reveal the truth, during the pandemic of COVID, once we are all out, we have understood that there is a 30% growth in female obesity, especially in India. And childhood obesity is also increasing by 25%. So India is facing a twin epidemic of diabetes and obesity. India has the third largest obesity burden and the second largest diabetes burden. If you see, India is almost in the very top ranking. So it's not a matter of pride. We have to take care of it and bring a lot of changes to our well-being. So the Indian picture, it may be even worse. Indians may be at higher risk as compared to the global population. Many of you might have done your ultrasound scanning or master checkups, and you would have seen that majority of our reports would have been showing there is an increased fatty liver, stage 1, something like that you would have got. And many of you would have also witnessed that the triglycerides are also on the higher side. So what does all this mean? It all means that there is a premature cardiotherosclerotic diseases and type 2 diabetes burden. And it doesn't mean that one who is only diagnosed with the high blood glucose levels has diabetes, or one who has already gained more weight is only a obese person. It's nothing like that. Prevention is better than cure. Unfortunately, today in India, we are mostly we are not doing anything about preventive care. We are only once the pipe has bursted out, now we are running to make what best can be done. Prevention is very important. I hope you will all agree with this. And most of the population in India who are getting diabetes are less than 50 years of age. And less than 50 years of age is still better number, but majority of them are also less than 40 years of age, and few of them are also even under 30 years of age. So will an obesity pandemic replace the COVID-19 pandemic? So after the outbreak of coronavirus disease, there had been a lot of changes like physical inactivity, reduced medical services, increased food intake, sleep disorders. Sleep disorders are one of the major factors. People who don't sleep well, they will have increased hypertension. So lack of sleep is one of the main reasons why many people are suffering with hypertension, and hypertension has become one of the main concerns in India. And apart from this, mental health problems, anxiety, stress levels, insecurity feeling, so many things. And on top of it, alcoholism is one of the adding factor in India. It's like adding fuel to the fire. Youngsters are getting exposed to alcohol intake, and not occasional alcohol intake. For many of them, it has become a routine intake. So those such habits are not good for our Indian population. So economic shutdown, maybe some of them might have lost their jobs or reduced income, inflation. So especially people, what they think is a fancy food. Fancy food is nothing but high carb diet, which is very easy to manufacture. You see the potato chips which they are selling. Does it makes any big cost to make potato chips? It's the cheapest, but you pay the maximum for the potato fries. The burgers, it's nothing but maida atta, and see the cost of the burger. So these companies make huge margin by very small added value. So this large volume, whatever it means, end of the day, it is high calories for the individual who eats all this stuff. And the COVID problems, of course, respiratory failure, physical inactivity, reduced lung function. So all these things are leading into diabetes. Diabetes means increased blood glucose levels. Metabolic disorders, it means sleep problem, obesity, diabetes, triglycerides, thyroid. Any of these things will fall under the metabolic disorders. And inflammation. We think, yeah, we are slightly fat, that's fine. But that is an inflammation. Fat is not fat. Fat is nothing but inflammation. The internal organs are suffering. We need, and painless. They don't show the pain. Without pain, these organs are suffering: respiratory disorders and health, heart diseases. So, so everything is interlinked. We think, yeah, that's fine. We think who is watching us if we eat this particular unwanted food. No, it's not, yeah, okay. One night sleep you missed because you are watching many of the Netflix movies or something, or daily watching the IPL and morning getting up and going for the job. So sleep deprivation is happening. So we think that's fine, but everything is interlinked. So increased in the cholesterol, increased in the blood pressure, obesity, insulin resistance. Diabetes doesn't come in one day. It takes at least 3 to 5 years for a person to develop his diabetes. For a normal natural sugars to go beyond normal, it takes minimum 4 to 5 years. And then leading to the diabetes and cardiovascular disease. All are interlinked. Nothing comes free. If a person is suffering from small problem, that means there are many multiple problems which are adding to the given situation. So evolving understanding of the metabolic disorders. So why I am repeatedly showing these slides is 80% of all these problems can be solved in a very early stage. Did you gain weight in the last 1 year? If yes, that means you are marching towards diabetes. Did you gain weight in the last 2 years? Yes, that means you are going to have blood pressure. Did you gain weight in the last 2 3 years? Yes, diabetes is definitely guaranteed, cholesterol is definitely guaranteed. We have to understand this. So let me explain what is metabasity. The spectrum of metabolic disorders with common metabolic and inflammatory origins, including diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative disorders, and accelerated aging. Accelerated aging is happening at very fast pace, especially in the Asians. We need to understand that. So whatever the diagnosis we keep, you have diabetes, you have blood pressure, you have that problem, you have this problem, whatever we diagnose, the underlying cause is all meta obesity. I hope you guys can understand this very easily. So this is another slide also depicting the changes. So what are the causes? So the causes related to activation of multiple mechanisms. So positive energy balance change, overconsumption, underutilization, storage of energy as fat, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, multiple pathways of systemic effects like inflammatory hypothesis, lipid overflow hypothesis, adipokine hypothesis. See, in the past, a normal person used to do some kind of fasting once in a week. So this fasting helps for the liver to bring back the energy which is being stored or which is stored in the form of fat. But nowadays we are eating 3 times a day, 7 days a week. So body is not getting the opportunity to bring back those calories that were stored in the form of fat in the past. So we need to do proper exercise, calorie restricted diet intake, and especially when you have a holiday, it's not worthwhile sleeping till late afternoon and then ordering something in the online and evening watching few movies and then sleeping again. That is very stress for the brain. If you have a holiday, wake up, come out of your house, please do whatever possible. Extra activities, open door activities are very important. So this one shows the risk factors about the geographical conditions. Obesity is more important risk factor for myocardial infarction in young adults. So the heart attacks, Indians are very prone for heart attacks, and you have also witnessed that many youngsters have fallen sick, and heart disorders are increasing very drastically, especially in India and especially in Hyderabad. So young adults less than 40 years of age, smoking, obesity, male gender, and then the family history or other reasons, there are so many that can increase the risk. And then for those people who are above the age of 45, it is a blood pressure, being a male, diabetes, cholesterol, being overweight, smoking, and past history of heart problem and family history of any other conditions. These are all come under the increased risk. So people who are in the increased risk, they have to become more aware and then control on whatever they are doing. If you are finding stressful, please be comfortable. Many of the people complain, sir, my job is stressful. See, if you don't have the job, then how are you going to eat? Respect the job which you are doing. There are many people out who don't have a job. That stress is more worse than being in a job. The stress is all about we are failing to undertake and accept the challenges we come across. We are finding reasons to blame some other or any other person for the mistakes which we have done. That shouldn't be done at any point or at any cost. Accept the work and do your work sincerely, properly. Then where is the need for insecurity feeling? An insecurity feeling itself turns a person anxious, and that will translate into the form of stress in anybody, and that will in turn increase the blood pressure and decrease the ability to sleep efficiently and properly. So we have to understand all these conditions. Definitely, people, many of them think that blood sugar means it is only increased in blood sugar. Blood pressure means it's only increased in small blood pressure. Cholesterol means it's only small cholesterol in my blood. But mind you, they change the hemodynamics of the blood. Our blood is supposed to be like water. You understand what I'm meaning? Blood is supposed to be like water. But imagine if there is more sugar in the water. What happens to the water? Water becomes like a syrup. So now heart is forced to pump syrup like liquid and not water. Will the heart get tired or not? It does. But without complaining any pain, it still keeps working, but it gets exhausted at a later point of time. So there are many studies showing all these factors. Blood pressure, from where the pressure comes, heart had to work harder and then induce the pressure. So the heart gets tired when it produces the blood pressure, and then the kidneys get into trouble when there is blood pressure. So there are multiple microvascular small blood vessels get into trouble over a period of time. All these things don't happen at night or 2 days or 3 days. It takes years for the body to get into trouble. But all these years we are ignoring and we are neglecting our health. See, to show here, these two people look like as if they are thin individuals. They are thin individuals, but actually the fat content is very high. For example, in this thin built person, you see there is 21% of body fat when compared to the opposite person. So Indian people are diagnosed at younger age and they have less generalized obesity and thinner limbs, but have a higher central adiposity and are more insulin resistant than patients when compared to the UK. So we so far I had been talking about the obese, but even the thin people are at high risk. So, for instance, there is a body mass index. So, for Indians, body mass underweight is when the BMI is from 18 to 22.9, and normal is 23 to up to 25, and overweight starts from 25 onwards. This is globally, but for Indians, the normal itself BMI is from 18 to 23, and overweight is from 23 to 25, and obese is anything above 25. So the collateral damage of weight gain during the diabetes, it's higher side. So weight gain associated with 22% increase in overall mortality, 2.25 kg increase is associated with 20% rise in the cardiovascular risk, that is heart problems factors in men, and 37% risk in the women. So if a person gains just more than 2 kgs, he is at a risk of heart attack. That's what we are talking about. And if there is abdominal fat, more fat in the stomach, abdominal obesity increased the odds ratio for MI to 2.4. So we definitely need to change this game. There are more percentage of people living with diabetes not under control in India. See, India is supposed to be the world capital of diabetes, right? But you know, the truth is more than 50% of the Indians with diabetes are not having good control of diabetes, and that is a very pathetic condition. Though they are taking medicines, the diabetes is still not under control. And there is a big percentage of people living with diabetes but also overweight. When I mean diabetes, you might be thinking, oh yeah, I don't have diabetes, so whatever this doctor is saying doesn't concern me. But mind you, we are all at high risk of diabetes. And many percentage of people living with diabetes are getting sudden heart attacks. So now you see the numbers. I was saying above say 50, here 77 percentage of the patients, people living with diabetes are not having good control. 67 percentage of the people are having almost overweight, and almost 85% of the people are having some or the other heart conditions. So when all these things are happening internally, but you might not still feel any pain. But look what's happening in the long run. Life expectancy is reduced by 12 years in people with diabetes and previous cardiovascular disease. When I mean diabetes, it's also obesity. So there are many studies proving what is right or what is not right. So friends, when you are going next time for the food, try to see that you get enough protein, enough fiber, enough vegetables and salads, but concentrate less on the carbohydrate intake. Try to reduce your carb intake. We Indians are taking high carb intake. 61 to 70% energy intake in Indians is through the carbohydrates present in the diet. High carb diet leads to increased blood sugar levels. So far, maybe I was a little bit boring you, but look into some reality cases. We have here Rohan, who is a 37-old person, traveling, very busy professional, diagnosed with diabetes a year ago in the annual health screening offered through his employer. He had no other relevant family history, but while he reported a very busy lifestyle with frequent work-related travel, he indicated that he is motivated to pursue lifestyle changes. But you see her sugars, fasting should be below 100, but it is 188. The post-panel should be 140. You see it is 294. The blood pressure is slightly higher and the BMI is 23. And he is of course on medicines, and MNT means medical nutritional therapy. So when a doctor says that you have to cut down on sugars, don't take sugars, reduce your oil, reduce your salt, it's not just words. It's called medical nutritional therapy, an advice given by a doctor to a person. It is called a medical nutritional therapy. It is not chit chat. So to summarize, I didn't show you the treatments because it doesn't matter much for you. So he has been benefited after initiating proper treatment. His sugars came to good control. The HbA1c should be below 7 for a diabetic. Pre-diabetics means below 6.5% and non-diabetic means below 6%. So from 8 he has come down to 6.9. Sugar of 188 come to 110. Post-prandial sugar of 290 came to 156. So this is the reality story. Now let's take what is actually related to us and how best we can look into the concern changes, and let's have some talk on this. Did I stop my sharing?
Yes.
Yeah. So what questions are we having now? Since I don't see the faces, it's very difficult for me to assume or presume who is sitting in front of me.
Can we ask you one question, Doctor?
Yeah, sure, man. Why not?
So, Doctor, this is Kali Yuga. Everything is corrupt in this world. So, we don't know where to go, who to approach. We don't get a right guidance. As you rightly said, prevention is better than cure. So, it all begins from the food. So, probably you could share us where do you buy your food. Probably we'll also buy the same food from where you're buying.
Very
Because
smart. Very
even the
smart
food is
fellow.
corrupt. Even the food is corrupt. We don't know what food to buy. Where should we buy fruits? Where should we buy vegetables? Because everything, food is a medicine, as you said rightly. So if you could guide us on that, we'll be more grateful.
See, everybody might not be in the same position, but if you ask me what is privilege today, in case if you are having some time and some money, if you want the best food, you need to do some small research. Where are you staying? From where are you sourcing your food, like vegetables or oil, milk? And if you do some research, definitely there is a right way of procuring the things. For example, I live in Chandanagar. I had trouble procuring good milk for especially because for my daughter. My wife is a gynecologist, so precocious puberty. So girls becoming matured at a younger age is not at all desirable. But unfortunately, many people think it is a good sign that their children are good enough, but actually it should happen as per proper age. So because of adulterated milk and some hormones used in the milk, we believe that girls are at a higher risk of having a premature puberty. So in this aspect I researched, and then beginning there was a farm nearby, like say Sid's farm. I knew the owner of it, so we used to get milk from the farm. But he started from zero in 2011 in front of me. And recently, for several crores, I don't know, it was 50 crores or 150 crores, he sold it out now. And now I am not comfortable in buying the milk from those who have purchased this farm. But then luckily I found nearby there was a temple, a Dharmapuri Kshetram, and they are having a Goshala. And they are getting, there are cows inside. And we can get the cow milk from them. It is very less expensive, I should say inexpensive, and the ghee they are producing there, it's all in front of us. See, the problem is we believe what is not visible to the eyes and what is marketed. Why can't you go take a time out Sunday, go out and see from where you are getting the milk? It's very important. So we have to trust the people. We have to sometimes visualize what's happening. It's very important. Sometimes my wife also might say there is something in the milk is not right. That something in the milk is not dangerous, but the chemicals in the milk are dangerous, which are not visible to the eye. Today we all clean our floors with super clean chemical liquids to keep our floors clean. But in those days, in the villages, with the cow dung, they wash the floor. And children, if something falls on the floor, they take it and eat it. They even lick it. But all the people are good and healthy. So looking clean is different from, being clean. We are all we are all only noticing that cleanliness, but what inside it is reflecting is not seen. Recently, one of my patient has got me some good watermelons from Nalgonda district. I said, what is special in them? He said, sir, few rows of watermelon, I didn't use any fertilizers. So these particular watermelons are from those few rows. So you have this. So, he has bought me many. So I shared with all my staff, and I bought some of them to my home. Yes, they are less sweeter in taste. They are lesser color to look at, but amazing. So now, when I told the farmer, why don't you make all the watermelons of the same quality without adding additional fertilizers, at least basic fertilizers and pesticides are mandatory. But that extra fertilizers, why can't you avoid? He says, sir, the buyers are looking at volume, size, weight, and color and sweetness. If I don't produce the one like that, who is going to buy from me? So who are all these buyers? It is all you guys and me. When we go and look for a beautiful thing, then they try to produce all those beautiful things. So we have to understand the reality. We all come from farmers' background. India is a farmers' background. But today we want to behave like Western people. Why are we behaving like Western people? They all love us. They are all dreaming of living in India. You ask any European, you ask any intelligent American, they say India's life is the best life. Because we get everything throughout the year. So to answer again, this marketing techniques have become, big fancy things. They are now all saying organic thing, but there's nothing called pure organic. You can't make really pure organic things in India because we have already roasted our soil. At least, let it not be that much adulterated. So try to procure from the proper sources. Be aware of what you are buying. See, we are so cautious when you buy an iPhone or when you buy something, a gadget on online. You want to check the reviews and you want to see that this and you want to make sure that it's very perfect. But when it comes to food, you are fooled by the smell and the taste. You are not worried about the ingredients. You should worry about the ingredients. It has become a very fancy for us. Though we have time to cook and eat, we want something ready for that particular time. And once we do that, we get tempted to repeat it again and again. So say for example, Sunday afternoon, you are at home. Why can't both of you try to cook together and enjoy the food? Why do we feel like ordering it online? And when you cook the food, you can cook without oil, you can cook with less salt, and you can cook without adding unwanted sweeteners or sugars. But when they cook outside, they have to do something so that it's more palatable. It's you enjoy the taste of it. So India today is not suffering from hunger. We are craving for ecstasy. We want something more. We want to enjoy the food from the position of filling our stomach for survival. Today we have come to a grown to a stage of enjoying the food, and that is actually killing us today. That is actually killing us today. So enjoying food is different from eating food. We used to enjoy food when in one marriage, hardly in some big festival. Yes, we used to enjoy the food. But now you see, every day has become an enjoyment now. So we have to start understanding enjoyment is different from living a normal life. Enjoyment is something above normal. You cannot live always above normal, right? Yeah. Sorry for boring with you. I mean, boring you with a long answer.
Sir, so one more question, sir. From the maybe this could be useful for people who are actually going through diabetes. There's actually a jackfruit powder on the floor actually that can be mixed with anything that we eat, be it idli, dosa, or anything in the rice. So this is something that people have been benefited. Probably you could share your thoughts on that.
Yesterday, I was buying jackfruit. Then I asked the person, so there were so many seeds left over. So what are you doing with the seeds? Actually, a few years back, they used to simply give it to you free of cost. But now he said, sir, kg cost around, I don't know, 50 rupees or 100 rupees, he said. So I wrapped up all of them and then I put them in the balcony and trying to dry them out. Maybe in a couple of days, they will get very much dry enough. Then we can get them powdered by ourselves. So when you do it yourself, there is no in between any other ingredient that is mixed to add weight to it. To add any weight, there is no middleman in between. So especially the chapati atta, multigrain atta we buy. But if time permits to you, come out of your house, look to the nearby store where they sell the wheat, bajra, whatever, the ragi, all those things, 4 or 5 ingredients, and get them to the flour mill which is available nearby, and do it yourself. And monthly once you will have to do, because if you do in more quantity, more than a month, it will the small things will come inside and you will not like it. So if you want, like say 4 kgs of multigrain atta, then 2 kgs of wheat, half kg of jawar, half kg of bajra, half kg of ragi, and half kg of whatever jackfruit powder or whatever, and that becomes your multigrain atta. So try to do yourself. And cooking oil, I would always encourage to go for a natural cooking oil, unlike any refined oil. Olive oil, when I say like this, people think about olive oil. Olive oil is no great deal. People in Turkey, Spain, do you think they are not having any heart attacks, or are they not obese? They are all using olive oils. And in India, we had all been using groundnut oil. What happened to us? Did our ancestors all had the diabetes and heart problems in earlier age? No, we are only getting all of them because we started using refined oil after 1980s. So our oil is groundnut oil. Today, because there is a Ukraine war happening where Ukraine produces more than 50% of the world's sunflower and Russia produces 25% of the sunflower seeds, and because of the war, now we are going to get into huge deficit of sunflower oil, and we are going to go into our own groundnut oil now. And these oils are very expensive, costing us around 500 rupees to 500 rupees per liter. So it doesn't mean that your cost is increasing. Use very less quantity. And most of the foods you can cook without oil. Why do you spoil the food by adding oil and putting all those things? Try to enjoy the natural taste of that vegetable curry or veg or non-veg or whatever it is. And also look into the nearby villages available to places where you are staying. Try to take a day out, go to the nearby villages, get acquaintance with the farmer there, and have some negotiation. Maybe you can come into some terms, so where they produce those vegetables and you can directly source them to your workplace or your home place and share among your colleagues. Why can't this be done? So like this, and that gives us immense of pleasure and happiness, So the food which you procure yourself and you eat it, you feel that as a privilege. You have to enjoy that. You have to enjoy that. So like, for example, 10 years back, I used to assemble the desktop system whatever I want for my needs. But nowadays, because of lack of time, we are directly buying our configuration. But in those days when we assembled it by ourselves, we enjoyed it. We always had a feel of ownership. It's like that. Yeah.
Hi sir, this is Ashwin. I have a question.
Please be a little louder.
Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yes, we can.
My question is, from your lecture, we could see that diabetes is the key for all the diseases. So, is there any way we could reverse it naturally?
Exactly. Wonderful question.
High blood pressure.
I was expecting this question. So, can we reverse, right? I'm talking about why don't you arrest it here? Why you progress it and then reverse it? Are you getting me?
Yes.
So, you guys are all here. So, if you now stop taking unwanted sugars, if you start leading a proper healthy life, you don't progress it, right? So, when it progresses, then one has to reverse it back. So, my suggestion is arrest it here itself. Did you gain any weight in the last 2 years? Lose that weight now. If you're unable to sleep properly, concentrate on how to sleep better. Spend time with your beloved ones, loved ones, with your children. Tell them good stories so that you fall asleep early. And then drinking water is very important. Nowadays, especially working in an air conditioned environment, we are forgetting to drink appropriate amount of water necessary. So at least 3 liters of water is very essential for us to keep us hydrated. So never forget to drink enough amount of water. And coffees, limit your coffees like 2 or 3 per day, and don't add sugars in the coffee. It is very important.
So, most of us might have diabetic, but we have not tested it, right? So, as you said, people were ignorant, or they are not ready to test diabetes. So, after it gets worse, then only we know that we have diabetes, and then we get to medicine. So, that's what I have.
Exactly. Exactly. So many of the patients, when they come to us, you see they're coming with 300, 400 of blood sugars. And see, it's not mandatory that everybody will get tested and everybody will get diagnosed early. But what I'm meaning is, if if someone is gaining weight, the answer is not loosening the pant. The answer is don't gain weight. Bring it down. If you think you're taking more of carbs, shift from carbs to salads, more of salad diets, more of raw vegetable salads, more of fruits, so that you understand your body better. If you're finding stressful, please go little meditation, little pranayam, at least 20 Surya Namaskaras a day will keep you fit. When I was treating COVID patients for 3 months, in 3 months I gained 8 kgs of weight. You understand, guys? 8 kgs in 3 months, because 24 hours a day it was very stressful for us. My blood pressure was hitting 180, but I had no other escape. I had to do the job. There was lack of sleep, there was a fear, it was a very desperate condition. But the people were getting very well cured. So there was no way out. Once we were inside, there was no way out. So we had to do our work and save the people. But once the thing was over, we had to work out and say, for example, I lost now 6 kgs. So still 2 kgs I have to reduce. So morning yoga and exercise whenever possible, the gym, and then the swimming where Sunday, Saturdays, whenever time permits, and then whenever there is a better opportunity, go out to walk and trying to spend more time with the family, and cutting down on the salt, cutting down on the oil. These are the things which are in your hands. So we need to bring down that weight so that blood sugar increasing is at a very later stage. But for this to happen, it starts from here, right? Here is where we need to be cautious.
Hi,
Since
sir.
you spoke about, your BP gets high to 180, how did you manage to get back to
Now, that particular time I took tablets to control the blood pressure, but after that, I am no more attending to any ICU. I understood ICU is not my job. Saving a patient who is dying is not my job. But saving the people from getting sick is my job. So I became more into, I understood that I'm good at preventing the things. I understood that I'm good at interacting with the people. So I started more concentrating on my positive things. And now my blood pressure is absolutely normal, very absolutely normal. I don't need actually blood pressure medications, but one of my senior doctors said, no, Kiran, you do at times get little bit of, attached to the work, too much of attachment with the work and too much of expectations put people at pressure. So he said, why don't you take the minimum dose of the tablet so that it helps you. So as the senior doctor said, I am following his advice and I am very good at that. But I still also have to control on further little bit of weight loss. And then for that I understood, when I spend time with my kids and family, my mind is more relaxed than with other things. So I try to get more time for the children, because as they grow up in few years, they are out of your control, they grow big and they are away from you. So this particular little period of time when you have little kids and little children at home, you have to understand them, listen to them. They are the best advisors. If you have any trouble, discuss with them. They tell you the best solutions for that.
Yeah.
How about diabetes? Are you diabetic free, doctor?
Pardon?
Are you diabetic free?
No, you're asking me, I'm a diabetic?
Free.
Diabetes free? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any blood sugar levels, the blood pressure and triglycerides. If I eat, once I was in a meeting, I was holding a conference. So 3 or 4 days I was eating food only in a 7-star hotel, and then after the meeting was over, when I checked my cholesterol, my triglycerides were up to 700. So then I understood, the rich food, the luxury food is not our food. So even if there is a need that there is a meeting Saturday night when we are going to eat outside, so 2 days prior to that you need to have high fiber diet, so that the balance is very essential. So cholesterol and hypertension is my problem. So I'm trying my best to manage them as naturally as possible. And when that is not helping, medicines wherever necessary, we need to take the medicines. Believing that all the medicines are having side effect is a very big myth. When a doctor is prescribing you any medicine, you better take the medicines properly and then talk to the doctor which is good for you, and then plan to come out of the medicines appropriately as required. But when a doctor prescribes a medicine and the medicine will have side effects, so I don't want to even start the medicine. That is the wrong way of looking at the things.
Okay.
What is the use of jackfruit powder, doctor?
Pardon? Jackfruit. No, it's more of a fiber. You get more fiber in it. It's very filling, and it is more. It's also protein rich. The jackfruit seeds, they are protein rich. They are very filling. So it's good when compared to the maida atta, for example.
And eating sugar leads to diabetes?
No, not really. But eating sugar will lead to load on the pancreas and excess calories in our bloodstream. So why do we produce unwanted calories?
Doctor, can you elaborate more on triglycerides, like you were mentioning?
Yeah.
What does high level of triglycerides?
Yeah, triglycerides should be below 150 or 200. So fine polished rice, avoid. Single polished rice, brown rice is good. Avoid the white rice, and then avoid taking rice 3 times a day. The people who are obese and who have triglycerides problem, who know that they have a triglycerides problem, skip the carbs in the night time. Don't take carbs in the night. It's a good way of doing it. And avoid fried foods and fried items. And lack of sleep also can elevate the triglycerides. And physical activity is very important. At least 10,000 steps a day is very important. If you are having 2 or 3 floors where you go up and down a day in your office, better use the stairs. Don't go for the lift. So these are simple things how you best understand yourself and put your body to work. And triglycerides are nothing but source of energy in our bloodstream. Sugar is nothing but a source of energy in our bloodstream. We are not using these energy sources, so they are getting accumulated and they are going to the extreme levels. What happens When a phone battery is getting charged and more charged, and the charging is not stopping, the battery is going to blast. That's what is happening with our body now. We are continuously feeding our body with more calories than what we need. Asians used to eat only once or twice a day and work almost 12 hours a day. But we are almost eating 4 hours a day. And the work we are doing, yes, we are using our brains, but not our muscles. So muscles use all these things. So we need to give some workload to the muscles. It's very important to understand and draw a balance between what we are eating and whatever the energy spending we are doing.
So, doctor, today we are thinking almost every house is having this water purifiers because we have no choice but go with the water purifiers. But generally, I keep hearing this is a confusion. Probably you could educate on that.
Yeah.
But generally they say that the water is acidic and it's better to put a copper.
Many people have even proposed me that alkaline water purifiers are available. Why don't you buy, and why don't so many things? But I'm not that impressed with all this stuff. What I still feel is people are not drinking at least 3.5 liters water a day. Now, what's the point you keep so much of purifier and you don't drink a liter of water a day? So how many of us consciously are drinking at least 3 liters of water a day? So drink good amount of water. In case if you have the Manjira water supply, then normal water purifier is more than enough. You don't need an RO also. For Manjira water, a normal water purifier is enough. That is costing around 10,000 rupees maximum. If you are taking the water from the ground, then RO filter is required for filtering the water to make it drinkable. But about that alkalinization of water, bringing its pH down, that is all a little bit of a fantasy in it. So if our blood is acidic, you drink good amount of water, that's good enough. If our blood is acidic, when you go for urination in the morning, you feel that like kind of a mild burning kind of a thing, and urine gets concentrated. When you drink good amount of water, you feel that you can notice that the urine is coming a fairly normal color, and then you will understand your body. Try to understand your body. Whenever you eat food, see, morning you eat food, afternoon you eat food, evening you eat, night you eat. Feel how your system is doing. Next day you ate morning a little breakfast or good breakfast, but then lunch you little bit reduced, and then evening you had a good salad, and dinner you reduced it little more, and then you had a early dinner, and then see how you feel the next day. Observe our body. When you drink good amount of water, check how you are doing well. When you drink less water, see how you are feeling. We have to understand our body. Like we understand the parameters of whatever the systems. Like that, we need to pay attention to our inward. We have to look at ourselves and see how best we are doing from inside. The blood reports, the parameters of the lab changes only when things go into extreme. Then only those things come into the reports. But before that, there is a lot of things happening in the body. The body tries to help itself not to get sick. But the way we are leading our lifestyle today is pushing us towards the sickness. Like there are many people who say, sir, we work to the American timings in the night time. Fine, you have to work. But what are you doing in the morning and in the daytime? You should be sleeping 6 hours a day at least, right? Why are you not doing that?
True. So, doctor, we have actually more questions coming up.
Yeah.
Hi, Sudha. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Saurabh. So, before we have these questions, I think we are reaching a top of our. So, please ask your questions, and doctor will try and answer most of the questions precisely.
Can we know your Chandanagar address, sir?
Chandanagar, you can find me. Dr. Kiran's Diabetes Chandanagar you put, you get the Chandanagar's thing, or Dr. Kiran's Diabetes So Much Good you put, you will get my So Much Good details. And then I think there is another channel of mine, Defeat Diabetes, Dr. Kiran something is there. You get the patient stories there. It's not my stories. How the patients have changed their lifestyle, what they did, what changes they did to their life, or how best they got benefited. You see the patient stories actually. I'm trying to create 1,000 patients real life stories of library I think we have close to 200 videos as of now. Nowhere you can see me. It is all those patients, what wrong they did in the past, thinking it was right, and what right now they are doing, which others might be perceiving that it is wrong.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Dr. Adam.
Okay, so you said that you could prevent diabetes rather than reversing it. Okay, this would be apt for people who, like us, who are at this at a borderline where we might get diabetes. But what about those people who already got it? And, what precautions would you suggest? Of course, not eating sweet and carbs and rice is something, and now even wheat is being prohibited from eating. So, what is it that best advice would you give?
See, so definitely any diabetic would be under a doctor care. So first, obey the doctor whatever he is doing. Don't cheat the doctor, especially in the food, and take the medicines properly. And see, diabetes control is the right terminology. But unfortunately, some people in this market world, they fixed a word called reverse. And with the term of reverse, now people are spending thousands and thousands of rupees just for the word reverse. Ultimately, whatever app you are getting the treatment, ultimately it is we the doctors who actually treat the patient. So people are paying in lakhs to these apps, but finally they give us our fees and get our consultation to you. That is the end. Many times I have seen they have paid like 75,000 rupees or even 1 lakh for an app to reverse the diabetes. But end of the day, it is me who actually write the medicines there. But what the app does is, are you doing those 10,000 steps a day? If you're not done, it will be reminding you. If you're not done, the next day you have to do that 5,000 of previous day and today the 10,000. And then whatever you eat, we have to feed in there. Then it will check and say, today, look, you have taken more of carbs, so you have to cut down these carbs and this is your food. So it will be showing you what wrong you are doing or what right you are doing and what are all the corrections. So these things you can do. It is common sense. Why someone else should come and tell us what is right or what is not for us? We can cautiously and consciously do these things right. And next thing, see, I'm not against anybody. I love everybody. I want everybody to be healthy. But when every time your app is going to remind you of your things, you get frustrated. Now it is taking control over you. Now it is becoming your boss. Already you are working for a boss, and another time this app is again telling you what to do. And anyway, house you are married, again you have another boss there. So with how many boss you will deal? Why don't you be the boss for yourself? So,
Thank you, that you. I have a question regarding vaccinations and all. I have been taken first dose of Covishield, okay, and after that I went with a COVID. Means it got attacked on me and my whole family was bitten in it. And the thing is that due to that, few deaths also took place in my family. And the thing is that the doctor told that it went through a blood clotness after this thing, vaccination. So my grandmother died in terms of brain hemorrhage for blood clotness, and my mother is also facing some kind of issues after the first dose, the clotness in the body, blood clotness. So is it recommended me to take that vaccination because few doctors told that it can be genetic?
see,
So
don't worry about the
can I
blood.
switch to another vaccination?
Yeah, don't worry about the blood clot of what it happened to your. I really feel sorry for them. But when vaccine is necessary for you, you have to take the vaccination. Maybe if they have taken a X vaccine, you can take the Y vaccine. And blood clots.
After the first dose, can I go for another vaccination from the start, from the scratch, that with vaccine, the first dose?
You can interchange the vaccine. If your first dose is done with X vaccine, for the second dose you can go for the B vaccine, and for the booster dose you may also go for another vaccine. And don't worry about the vaccines. Vaccines are very safe. So whatever has caused in them, it is a different story. Don't think it is in everybody. So crores and.
I have a question regarding that. That will they accept if I go for vaccine from the first dose? Then
Yes.
how to take that?
You can take.
Is accepting?
Yes, you can take. I think the app is accepting. It should be. It should be because I think at our Sirisha nursing home they have the vaccines and they have the app. So there I think there was an opportunity. Maybe you can talk to those people and then you can take that vaccine. That's not a big deal.
Yes, I can transfer straight the vaccinations.
Yes,
It's
yes,
not an
yes.
issue.
Yes, yes. It can be done. And by the way, that grandmother, can I ask whether if she was a diabetic?
She was not diabetic. After that, in fact, our means I got diabetic. My normal before food, before eating food, my glucose level is around 130, 135. So I'm quite controlling on that.
How
Not
much it is
taking
now?
much sugar.
Latest, what is the report? Fasting.
It came 130 few days back. I did.
So still
The
40
pregnant.
points we have to reduce in that 40. So 130 minus 40, you get 90. So double digit of fasting is always a better way. And kindly try to take your meals on time and take good amount of water, and you can skip the dinner if necessary, and vegetable salads and
Okay.
all you can try.
Thanks a lot, Kiran. Thanks a lot.
So don't worry about all these things, and don't be scared of anything. I would actually say people with diabetes live a long, quiet, happy life when compared to the non-diabetics. Because once there is diabetes, you tend to follow a proper lifestyle, you eat on time, you behave more like a human, not like the Rakshasa. No midnight biryani, eating like Rakshasa, I say. And many of my patients are at the age of more than 80, 90 years of age with diabetes for more than 30, 40 years. So despite 30, 40 years of diabetes, and they're now crossing 80 years, and they're having a perfect life. The only problem is their friends and relatives who are non-diabetics and even younger to them are dying of other problems now. So that is more, painful for them.
Okay, excellent. I think we've reached the top of the hour now. We're post 4 minutes post the scheduled time, but we have more questions. Also, a lot of people are interested in knowing. And one particular interesting conversation happened around what sort of sugar we should be using instead of sugar. Can we replace honey, jaggery? There's some interesting conversation which I happened. Do you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah,
throw some
yeah, yeah.
insight?
Please see, honey. You cannot do mass production of honey. So whichever honey is advertised, that means it cannot be produced naturally. So try to get the honey from the natural sources, from the forestry cooperative societies like Srishalam Forest, or from Coorg, or I don't know, Kashmir, or from your near hometown. There are many places to procure it naturally. So try to look for natural sources and not for the branded ones. Second thing, when we say no sugar, it means no sugar. No sugar cannot be brown sugar, white sugar, sweetener, that, this, and all. No sugar means no sugar. So try to enjoy the coffee. So many people say in the beginning, when I say don't add sugar in the coffee, sir, how to drink coffee then? And English people taught us coffee is coffee. After they left us, we started putting sugar in it and milk in it. They didn't teach us sugar coffee. They didn't teach us sugar tea. They only taught us tea and coffee and left. And after that, we started adding into it whatever we like, and then now we label it as how to serve this thing. It's very, very easy to come out of the sugar. If someone comes out of the sugar for a couple of months, then you will not like the sugar. You will feel that the original taste of anything is gone when sugar is added to it.
Sir, one more thing. Since sugar came up, obviously the other sugar's friend, salt. So Saindavalanam is generally recommended. Probably iodic salt. So probably you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, see, any salt should be taken in less quantity. When I say about take less salt, low salt, then people start immediately buying low sodium salt or Saindavalanam, whatever it is. See, when you buy the low sodium salt and add appropriate salt, then what is the point there? See, now you took low sodium salt and you're adding this much. So the normal salt itself you could have added very low. So you got the low sodium there. So cyananalam is also fine, but very less quantity. And one more thing, in seven days a week, right? So 2 days at least take food with zero salt, no salt, any salt. Body doesn't need so much of salt. We are not sweating, we are not plowing our fields, we are not pedaling rickshaws on the road. If you are doing that, yes, you need salt because you will get weakness and low sodium will happen. But we working in AC, atmosphere controlled environment, we don't need this much of salt. And kidneys have to work harder to push out all this salt out. They have to, sugar also they have to push out. And everything they have to push out whichever you take in excess. So why to give load to the kidneys?
Sir, good evening, sir. This is Majid.
Bolo Majid.
Sir, I have a question related to gestational diabetes.
Gestational
Suffered by
diabetes.
pregnant women.
Yeah.
So will that be remain forever, and is there any alternative?
Very
to
good,
insulin?
very good question. So gestational diabetes means during pregnancy sugar comes and doctor gives mostly insulin or maybe tablet, and after the delivery the sugar becomes normal. They think the sugar has gone. The sugar doesn't go anywhere. It is always with you. So that is why when I treat a gestational diabetes patient, from the day one I say you have to stop sugars for lifelong, for lifetime. If you don't tell this, if you think that you will tell after the delivery they won't even come to you. So whom are you going to address now? So
Correct.
the beginning days itself I start telling them you have to stop sugar lifelong. You have to stop sugar lifelong. If that woman is little overweight, please cut down on the white rice. And after the delivery, 8 months after the delivery, you should come back to the same weight which you were prior to getting pregnant. And if you have gained weight in the last few years, maybe it is because of the sedentary work, sitting work or stress at work, try to shut down that weight so that you won't get other problems. And especially many women are facing now fertility concerns. So weight reduction itself will make them more fertile. Weight gain will make them infertile. That is very important. So losing weight is very important. And beyond that, all those young, beautiful men and women don't gain weight, first of all. Don't take it easy. When someone is gaining weight, don't take it easy. Take it seriously. If you have gained 2 kilos in the last 4 months, don't take it easy. Take it serious and try to get out of that.
Thank you, sir.
So
Point
I
taken.
think we have 2 questions from Deepshika and Sriram. Deepshika, you have a question?
Yes, actually. So, I just wanted to know, is there any disadvantage or side effect of high protein diet?
Okay. So why do you need high protein diet? Why just protein diet is not enough?
So, I had gestational diabetes, like with my second kid.
That's
So,
fine.
doctor at that time, they will just say, if you're hungry, go for chicken or fish or egg. So, I mean, instead of carb, I used to consume protein.
Fine.
But I had a friend. I know she suffered from protein leakages, and actually, unfortunately, she died out of it. So I'm always scared to take high protein diet. So I just wanted to check how safe it is.
Okay. First thing, for example, I have never advised anybody high protein diet. When I treat any diabetic pregnancy woman, when she says she has a craving for food, I say eat, but not carb, less carb. I encourage more of fruits actually, in fact. And protein, yes, if I know that the person is not taking proper protein, then you advise adequate protein, not high protein. So taking 1 or 2 eggs a day or 100 grams of chicken or non-veg a day is not high protein. High protein is those people who are working in bodybuilding and gyms taking high proteins. They are high protein, and according to the kidney doctors, high protein is not good. Maybe I am good with the protein because it doesn't elevate sugars, but kidney doctors are against high protein diet. So take moderate protein, whichever is essential, and stop the sugars. And whatever the treatment the doctor has done for you is good, and don't fear for anything. Like all those gestational women whom I have treated have not come back to me with frank diabetes so far. But I daily see 1 or 2 people who say, "Sir, 5 years back I had gestational diabetes. Then it went away and it yesterday came back." I said, "वो आरटीसी बस है क्या? तब गया फिर आया फिर कल गया फिर परसों आ रहेगा 4 बजे." हमारा पास शुगर हमेशा रहेगा, बट वो एक्स्ट्रा नहीं होना चाहिए. वो विद इन द नॉर्मल रहना. नाहरपेट में 90, नाश्ता के बाद 130. नॉर्मल पे रहना. When it goes beyond the normal, then it becomes diabetes. When it is within the normal, it is normal. So don't be afraid of any medical conditions, but follow the proper lifestyle. Understand the proper lifestyle. The meaning of proper lifestyle is misunderstood by many people, unfortunately, today. So go to the basics. Maybe your grandmothers are the best people to tell you what is the normal lifestyle, not any Western apps to say. And many of the YouTubers and many of these people, they have something else in the background when they produce this. There are very, very few videos who really talk the truth about it. So you have to really find such proper videos to understand the the content in it, and try to follow that one.
Doctor, interesting question from Srinivasan. Can diabetics eat fruits?
Yes, I allow all my patients to eat fruits because I believe all my patients are having good diabetes control, and almost all of my patients don't take unwanted sugars. So because they are strict with these things, I allow these things for them to enjoy. If a person is already having daily once sugar added coffee, he is already having 2 times a week sweet, then how can I allow him to take again fruits?
Morning, doctor. So I have one small doubt. So morning having only dry fruits and evening having light food, will it good to well?
Perfect, perfect. In between, have 150 grams of green salad as well.
Okay, okay. So morning dry fruits along with this only one idli or one chapati with this.
Perfect. See, whatever you do, think whether is it a sustainable model. Are you going to do it for the next 6 months to 1 year? Think that first. If you think you are going to do it for a few days, then that's fun. That's fun. But that's not yet your habit. And daily one cannot be taking only dry fruits, right? So weekly 1 or 2 days you do this what you said. You one day you have a proper normal breakfast, be like a South Indian breakfast or a North Indian breakfast, and one day whatever it is. So don't be very obsessive thinking something is the best. With whatever diet you do, you are not going to live 200 years. Any diet you do, one day we have to end our life. And whoever have done the best diet, nobody have lived beyond human age. Whatever the right diet we are trying to do is to at least live that normal full age. We don't want to have premature deaths. We want to live a proper life. So for that proper life, whatever is good, but think how our ancestors lived in India life. And whatever you do, try to do something close to our Indian way of lifestyle. That itself is the best thing.
Okay.
I hope
I would take only 1 minute.
I hope I am not very harsh with my answers, right?
I would take only 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, regarding fasting, is it fine? I mean, enough for the body? If
Perfect.
taking lemon water with jaggery and fruits?
That is not fasting.
Okay.
Lemon water, okay, we can consider that as fasting, but once you put honey or jaggery in it, then it is not fasting. So
Okay.
once in a week, 24 hours, only water is good.
Okay.
One more
Initial days it may be tough.
one more day,
Initial days it may be-
you eat vegetable salads and fruits one more day. So in 7 days,
Okay.
you did one day full fasting with water, and another whichever day was comfortable, you eat only fruit salads and vegetables. And 5 days you eat the carb and the proteins. That's good for you.
Okay. Okay. 1 day, whole day water, I mean, it's sufficient for the body.
Yes, yes, yes. If you're not underweight and anything, you will really enjoy that fasting. And after the fasting, you will feel much more energetic.
Thank you so much.
Okay, ma?
Hi, doctor. Hi, doctor. I have a question. Is it necessary for a diabetic patient to take the cholesterol tablets or any sort of blood thinners?
Yeah. It is not necessary to take, but depending upon the patient age and other relevant factors, sometimes we do prescribe these medicines for majority of our people beyond certain age.
Okay. So my mother is diabetic and she was like having 110 LDL level. So the doctor has prescribed some what we say cholesterol
Statin,
tablets,
yeah.
and now she is not using it because it was like only a slighter range.
Okay.
So what is
So let her
advisable for-
talk to the doctor and tell that she is not taking the tablet. That's more important.
Okay.
When any of my patient is not taking the medicine which I have given, they have to first tell it to me. Doctor, see, I'm not taking it because I'm not feeling good with it, or I feel it's not necessary for me, or I think it is extra cost for me, or I cannot afford it. Whatever it is, speak to the doctor. So that doctor knows what is right for you or what is not right for you. So that is the best practice. Because not only cholesterol tablets reduce the cholesterol, but there is also sometimes a purpose. If there is already some atherosclerosis within the walls of the arteries, we believe that the cholesterol tablets will improve the blood flow within they make the pipe better for the flow of the blood. So there are other reasons why do we use these cholesterol tablets, even if the cholesterol is at normal stage.
Okay. And doctor, is it common to have the numbness in legs for the diabetic patients
It's not
after the
common.
age of like 56?
No, it's not common. The person is not having enough physical activity. Let her keep moving the feet. Let her walk. She can also do back walking exercises. It is very important. She is sitting most of the time. When you also sit in your office on a stressful day, even your feet will get numb. Yes or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But she does many of the activities, but still she's having this numbness.
Yeah, maybe because of the long duration of diabetes, or maybe in the beginning stages of diabetes, the sugars were very high. So maybe there are many reasons for that. But in that condition, we give the blood thinners and other supportive medicines. Let her follow that. And physical activity is very necessary. But don't come into a conclusion that all diabetics will have a numb feet or numbness or painful neuropathy.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, Ma?
Okay, I think Mahesh has the last question.
Yeah, please.
So, hi, sir. Kiran sir.
Yeah.
My wife got sugar test last week, and her values are like PLBS value is 74 and FBS is 86. Like PLBS is lesser than
Perfect.
FBS.
What is her weight?
Is that okay?
Can I ask what is her weight?
She's around 48.
So she's underweight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's very normal for her. Let her eat proper food and proper protein food and proper fruits and all vegetables she can take, and that blood glucose is very normal.
So PLBS lesser than FBS.
Fine,
is
fine. Don't keep that. It's normal. See, her body is producing enough insulin and trying to control the sugars. What you can think is, see, someone was saying that the sugar was 130. So when compared to the 70, 130 is almost like double. So double the sugar in the blood. So in the beginning, I said, right, when you put sugar into the water becomes a syrup like. So as the sugar increases, the blood becomes more thicker and thicker. Hemodynamically, it becomes thicker. The viscosity increases, so it becomes for the heart to pump the blood, and blood will not reach all those end parts like eyes and the feet, where they have to go there and take a U-turn and come back. So there they go and get clogging. U-turn के पास ट्रैफिक जाम हो जाता ना, वैसा हो जाता है. So for the answer of your question is absolutely normal. Don't panic about the results. So we have to keep the sugars close to these numbers. That's why I said fasting should be below 100 and postprandial at least below 130 or 140. So thank you.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thanks for